Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It is time for our Impact Interview, and it's safe to say this guy has had a tremendous impact on the Penn State men's lacrosse program and the Professional Lacrosse League afterwards. Two-time champion of the Utah Archers, going for a three-peat, and certainly one of the best to ever wear the blue and white. Grant Ament joins us. Grant, thanks so much for taking some time with us today.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's go ahead and start with 2025. We're gonna go to the past a little bit in your career, but let's go with what's going on right now, the excitement with Penn State lacrosse. If you don't count the COVID year, this is the third Final Four appearance and now 6 seasons for Coach Tambroni and the guys, and they do it in such an amazing, improbable way with the comeback against Notre Dame. So I want to go to the culture of the program. We can talk about the specifics of a comeback and all that type of stuff, but as we were talking a little bit before, it really permeates everyone in this organization, in this program, what Coach Tambroni talks about and discusses. So give us an idea of what makes this program special and makes them able to do things like they were able to do against the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Tambroni sets the tone pretty early on, every single year. But in terms of demanding everything that you have, the one thing that he would always say to us, and I know he still preaches it to this team, is we just ask for nothing but your very best and nothing but everything that you have. And that's in workouts, that's in on the field, in conditioning, everything. And, just the way that he goes about his day, he not only talks it, but he walks it as well. And it's something I always respected about him. Like, nobody beats him to the office. Nobody really leaves before him. And he's as dedicated of a man as I've ever seen. And is a guy that is the best leader that I've played for, and has taught, every guy that I played with, that there's nobody that they would go to war for more than that guy. So when you have such an amazing leader at the top, and then combine that with some amazing talent that we have, and guys that buy into that culture, anything's possible. And I think that was on display on Sunday.
Well, Grant, you were part of a group really that a class of guys that came in and really elevated Penn State and took them into that next level, into the Final Four. So as that was happening in real time, sometimes teams and players can sense in real time that something special was happening. Could you sense that at the time when you guys were when you were going through that and getting into that first Final Four?
Yeah, I think we did. I think, looking at just the guys that I played with, I played high school ball with Chris Sabia for the Haverford School, and we had an opportunity to go undefeated our senior year, and just talking about winning and that team and how we learned how to win and bringing that as the expectation for us. And in the beginning of the year, I remember having that conversation, guys like Kevin Fox, just reminding everybody that it's cool to care about the little things. Guys like Matt Donnelly, who didn't say a lot, but did a lot. And then you combine that with the talent that we had, they're just talking about that team. I'm pretty sure we had 9 All-Americans on that team. And so we knew we had the opportunity to be special. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew there were going to be hiccups along the way. And, looking back on it, we only lost to one team that year who just happened to have the best face-off guy in college lacrosse history. So we could sense it for sure, but we would not have been there if it weren't for the years prior where we came up short. We lost in 2017 to Towson in a game where we expected to win. The year before, my freshman year, we had 3 back-to-back 1-goal losses, all to Big Ten teams. I was injured my junior year in 2018. And we ended up, I think it was like 8-6 or something like that. Just not an amazing year. Didn't make even the Big Ten tournament. And just, we were motivated. And that's what I think this team in 2025 continues to show, is just how motivated they are. Because, talking to the guys on the team, yes, we elevated the program, but we didn't get it done. And so I think, if you ask any guy on that 2019 team, if this team does it, they're going to celebrate just as hard, if not harder, if these guys can hoist the trophy on Memorial Day weekend.
Grant, it's been a special year in Happy Valley. The football team made it all the way to the national semifinals. The hockey team, an awesome surprise to make it to the Frozen Four. Now the lacrosse team. But this program's been to this point before. And as you mentioned, you guys haven't gotten that championship, haven't won it all. As we watch them play Cornell, and they dealt Cornell the only loss for the season for the Big Red, what are the keys as you watch that game and watching this team that could signal, hey, this is a team that could potentially win it all?
Yeah, I think first, I mean, it just comes down to fight. Like this team's got a lot of fight. You look at that first Cornell game. We're down with multiple goals with 2.5 minutes left, and yes, it was an unlucky penalty for Cornell that ended up giving us the victory. But just the fact that we were able to win faceoffs in that moment, we were able to do things in clutch time, and then. I look back at the Notre Dame game this past week, like they could have rolled over, and they didn't, and they just chipped away and they did their job. So I think that's number one, is just an unwavering belief is definitely key number one. But two, we're playing the best offense in college lacrosse right now, the best player in college lacrosse right now. So obviously, Coach Bucci, I know, is going to draw up something, probably a mixture of man and zone, but just maintaining those matchups, I think is super important. And then from a clearing perspective, from a special teams perspective, just something that Coach Tambroni really stresses is just playing a clean game in between the 30s. I think that's something that his mark on Cornell is still very much there. They play a similar style to us. So I think you're going to see a 4-quarter kind of punch for punch, blow for blow type game. But I think, as long as it really starts with that unwavering belief, I think that the boys can get it done, and hopefully we can see them on Memorial Day weekend, or on Memorial Day.
So in 2020, you were the first overall pick in the PLL draft, and you're coming off 2 straight league titles and looking for a third. But how much fun has it been to be part of that team, but also part of this really incredible growth of the PLL that we're seeing nationally, to where people are tuning in from all over the country, and the sport has really grown, and you've had a big hand in it. How much fun has that been?
It's been awesome. I graduated at such an opportunistic time, obviously with the PLL starting in 2019. So I'm extremely lucky and grateful for the Ravels and them taking the chance and taking the risk to be able to build this thing. And it's been super fun to be able to do it this past 2 years alongside one of my teammates from Penn State, Max. So to be able to continue to play with him and then see TJ come in and have the success that he's had, obviously matching up against Chris Sabia. So I have graduated. I am away from Penn State, but it's that brotherhood is still very much there in the PLL, and excited for Matty Trainer and Kevin Parnham. Frack got signed, all these guys to be able to kind of influx the league and continue to carry on that tradition that I don't think was there prior to. I think the PLL gave guys like myself, gave guys like TJ, Mac, hope for playing professional lacrosse, which I think is really important. For so long it was really the college game, and I think the PLL has done a great job of really putting it on a pedestal and being able to showcase us in the best way.
Now, awesome advice from Grant Ament, and just really appreciate his time. What a stud he was at Penn State. Good luck to the Nittany Lions. If you want to see any of our Impact interviews and full interview conversations, make sure you go to our website, nittanygameweek.com.